Hi friends, I wanted to go over this cute little project that I did for Christmas for the girls. Here I have a core wool that's about a patty size, about 3 inches, and I just start off with that white core wool, and I just use a needle that's pretty, like, I don't know the numbers of my needle, but when you push it in you can feel the how coarse it is going in, and when others you can feel kind of that they just kind of feel like you're pushing into a cloud. It's just like so light. So this is kind of like one that's really good for if it's really kind of like resistance or coarse going in. I find they place and shape better to start off with. They place like wool where you want to pin wool if you want to add color and that kind of thing. So I'm going to kind of go by the feel when I explain things rather than numbers and stuff, because I don't know the shapes and the numbers. I go by how it works and how it feels, and I just grab different needles, and if it's working, it's working. So here I'm making kind of a patty. So what I want to do is make a cake today, and I want to put some fruit and stuff on it. So this is how I start off with this project. I thought, okay, last minute come, a few little cutesy gifts for Christmas, and like little stocking stuffer type things, and yeah, so I'm going to do some cute little desserts. This is one that I made a donut. I didn't make a video of that, but if you would like a video of that, just let me know in the comments below. I can make another tutorial, or I don't know if this is called a tutorial, because I'm just kind of going along and just looking at a picture and just this is how I do it kind of a thing. So I started off with my core wool because I have a lot of this white wool. I just bought bags and bags of it, and it's quite cheap. And I have a wool mill near me, and yeah, I buy them by the bag. So I think I get here, when I buy it here, I think it's like $20 for a pound, 2 pounds or something like that bag of wool. I cannot recall 100%, but it's cheaper than buying online. So I don't really have any like top wool or manure, however you call it, like just the nice fluffy top wool, that's silky stuff. If I want to smooth something out, I use the brushes. I bought some pet brushes and I use that. It doesn't smooth them out, it's nice silky. If I needed to smooth out something, I'm guessing I would need like a wheel to churn the wool, like to do it. But here's some that I bought from I think this one obviously looks like a roll from either Michael's or online. I've only bought a few just to get the colors I needed for a particular item, because I get what I get at the wool mill, and they don't always use the same dyes and all that kind of thing. So I just get loads of colors I want, and then I keep it, and then I have that. And if I want anything special for a particular character or anything, I have to decide what I'm going to make and buy it online. So I was trying to buy wool for a Yoda, which I haven't made yet. And so yeah, I've been trying out different places and haven't succeeded in finding a good place yet. But anyways, if you do know one, you can let me know in the comments below. So this was basically a kind of a cake color, I thought, like a creamy, cakey cookie color, and I don't have any color lists, and I thought I'd put it over top of the core wool because I'm trying to do this cake. And here's my top for the cake. It's just a little it's supposed to be kind of like those little single serving cake type things with the little fruits on them or whatever, and I thought it would be so cute. Now that wool that I did use on top there, that was picked up online as well, and that was super smooth, and I believe I bought that for Yoda's coat. I think, I'm not sure if that's the right color, but I was trying different wools, and it was hard to buy when you're looking online and getting it and seeing. Also too, online they're talking about weights, and they're using different systems than you, and you just kind of got to wrap your mind around what weight you want or how much wool and how much it is. It's kind of sometimes discouraging to order online, and it would be super nice to find a place in Canada to buy. Besides the wool mill that I have, like I said, it's just core wool, nothing fancy there. I get a few locks of different things in a baggie, but it's what's there when it's in, kind of a thing. So this is just keep going back and forth here with these two felting needles. Now, like I said before, one is very like when you push it in, it's very hard, it's very resistant, and it's got it's longer and stuff like that, so it's got more resistance, so it's moving more wool and that kind of thing, felting it together. And this other one has smaller barbs, and so every once in a while when I feel like the holes are getting too big or something, I will like to switch it up, and I feel like it's getting too resistant and I don't want to pack it in too much at that point, I will switch it up. And like I said, I'm a new felter somewhat, so I'm just kind of playing with it. I don't know my numbers or anything, but I just go by the feel and what the actual needles do. So I feel like with the little one I can go on with finer details and make it look super nice and not have big gaps and big holes in the item. So I like that. I have also put a few needles together and stuff like that, and used different projects like things like that, but because this was such a small project, delicate, I didn't use like a whole, sometimes I tried a couple different needles out to see how I liked it, but I just used a single one for pretty much the whole project. Here I am making my strawberry, and I'm making it strawberry shaped, and I decided to make a whole strawberry and kind of mimic the layers. I will need to practice on this because it didn't turn out the way I totally intended it to, but I think I'll have to look at a picture of strawberries and maybe try to layer it a little bit better. So I used the core wool again for the center and making kind of a raindrop type of shape, and I didn't want to compact the center too much before adding the top coat of color, because then it just gets too, by the time you're done everything, it's just too hard, and then it's just not felting as well anymore. So I just do some layers, and then I do my red. Once I get kind of solid a bit, not hard like the compact as say even the cake itself, and then I kind of get it really solid after, once the top is on. Also too, when you put another layer on, when you're felting, you push some of that top layer through into the first color. So I kind of was going for that effect with this, because the red strawberries I wanted to kind of push through into the white a bit. Like I said, this is a thing I have to kind of play with a little bit more to get used to it, because I didn't really, this is my first attempt. I was just like, this makes sense to do this. So, and that wool that's on the side is kind of like that curly locks I was telling you about. They have different colors. I think I bought like a baggie for like $2.50 or something of different colors, rainbow assortment. And I might have added some of that. Yeah, I did, because it's just a slight different red than I had. Red was a color that I was really having a hard time finding. When I first went to the wool mill, they didn't have any. And when I wanted to make Deadpool, I had a hard time finding red. And so I had to go to Michael's and buy it there, and it was super expensive. For a whole bag that they have there, they have the rolls about 3 inches, 4 inches of a roll, like a cinnamon roll of wool, and they had 4 of those rolls in a bag, and they might have a couple colors rolled together in one to actually look like a little bit of a cinnamon roll or a whatever roll. And then that bag's about $12 for that little bag of, and they're about 3 inches wide of a roll, and they had probably 4 colors in them. No, I'm sorry, 8 colors. So they probably mixed 2 colors, and you can unroll it and then take your color out and then roll back your color single, and then of course then your color's much smaller than 3 inches. But that's how much they're spending. Like, that's how much you're spending at a store, like a craft store, for the wool. So buying online is way better, but frustrating if you don't know, like me, what to look for, where to buy, and that kind of thing. So then there's a hobby that I'm not always into, so it's not like I'm thinking about it all the time and then finding, oh yeah, I gotta find the best place. So it's once in a while when I get into the groove of it, and then I'm like trying to find the right place to buy the wool. So here I am trying to finish up my strawberry. I add a little green. It gets covered, but for me, I'm just kind of playing with it, and it looks like a little carrot. But I'm just trying to go with the flow of it. And here's my result. It's not the best. I kind of work with it. I'm trying to see what it would look like if I added a little bit of the red dripping through it, but as you'll see, it didn't really work. It just was seemed too much of a silly thing to play with, so I just kind of tried a couple little strips and then like pulled it out and like, didn't work. I did put one strawberry slice half to the side and saving that half for another project, and using half of the strawberry for this little cake, because 2 just seemed like it was too much. And then I just worked the 1/2 to shape it into a strawberry more. So here's me, where's my English? Here's me just kind of working it, and it gets a bit smaller, but at the kind of through the whole thing, I add more red to it and shape it up more as a plump strawberry rather than looks like a skinny radish right there or something. But like I said, this is kind of experimental. I threw it on there a little too fast. I had to move it later on. You'll see that. Now, when I made this video, I'm sorry, something just popped up on my computer. I made this video and I just did it 4 times the speed, and this is everything I did. Like, I'm not cutting anything out. I was thinking about cutting stuff out, but then I'm thinking, if you guys want to slow it down, I don't know, like what, but then you can maybe catch a little bit more what I'm doing. I don't know. So now you can see the size difference already. Another thing too is, I think the whole little thing took about a couple hours total. I think I worked on it for about an hour before work in the morning, and then when I came home from work, the rest of the recording. But you can see how fast it is. Now I decided to look at a picture of a strawberry. Hey, go figure. I have a white pen here. Didn't really work too well, but the idea was good, to just add a little bit of that core white that you see on that picture, the little outline. I tried it with the pen. I just left it. Didn't really work too well, but you can see slightly. So, I mean, it made me happy to try it. The pen that I used is a Craft Smart, just from Walmart, white pen. I like to use it on my colorings and stuff like that. So, and I'm just clicking something, so if you hear a click, okay. Something popped up in my way. So now I put it on there, and it's looking really cute. And it's just, I did end up pulling it off. I didn't like totally felt it, like you can totally get things stuck in there. But I had to move it because I made a little piece of kiwi after. But this is me after work now, coming back to it. But yeah, having strawberry right in the center was not a really smart thing to do. So again, thinking I did the strawberry hole, I decided to do the kiwi hole. So I'm using some core wool, and I'm just trying to do a center, and I don't want it too round. It turns out pretty round. I'm trying it to be, I don't know, not too round, but it's more of playing with it. So it's something I have to practice if I want to get good at. Practice is like just like drawing and painting with the, you know, little things you try. If you notice there, I was just picking like some debris out of the wool. I get a lot of debris in my wool. I guess that's from the wool mill, and when you get the fancier wool, usually online, there's not usually too much stuff in it. But I mean, it happens. A little bit of a grass or something. So I'm trying to figure out what to do, and I'm just like, I think I restarted up my core here. So I probably could have taken that out of the video, but I didn't. I'm hoping that a half an hour is okay for a video. Oh no, this is where I'm making a little, I was going to make a little icing. That's what that was actually. Made a mistake. That's not my kiwi yet. A little icing, and I just made a little like pearl ball instead of the icing. I just wasn't feeling the whipped icing with this particular core wool. I'm guessing if I really felted it, like tons of course, I could have got the icing look that I wanted, but I felt that with the strawberry being kind of the cone, the shape, and then icing, it just would have been kind of competing with the shape of the thing on top, so I decided to do like kind of like a little pearl block of icing on it, or cream, or whatever that is called. What is that? Is that icing? Like a cheese cream icing or something? So I just decided to do a little, it's my craft, it's my art, so I suppose doing a pearl shaped little piece of icing is my choice. So, but you could do whatever you wanted. But I just thought it was going to compete with the nice strawberry I liked, and I didn't want to have the same shape again. I suppose if I was way more professional about it, I could have done a really good job. So here is my core. Haha. So I use a bit of core wool, and I use some of that wool color that I used for the bottom for the cake, just to have when I do slice it open, I get maybe a tad of yellow in there. Don't think it really showed, but I just, in my mind, that's what I want to do. Sometimes you do things though in art that don't really show after, but it gets done. It's a process, part of the process. So here I'm just really getting in some of that, I don't know what color green, and this is a nice wool too, so this one I bought for Yoda, but it wasn't quite the right color, so it was so frustrating. He's too green, he's like a Hulk green, and I didn't want Yoda hulky green. So anyway, but it kind of looked kiwi green, so I decided to use it. Here I'm using my little brush thing. I just needed a solid place for a bit, trying to compact that ball. I was getting to where I wanted to get this done a little faster. This is why I'm using this multi-needle. I'm just trying to compact that so that I can get my outer layers in. I really did compact that well to get my outer layers. Actually, I was thinking that I might have done it too much at first, but it worked out really good. So the more, of course, I'm pushing that green through the center a bit too, spreading that color in there, so it's going to look really cool when you cut it. I could have done a better job and practiced maybe more of this, but it is what it is. I had an idea of putting like little seeds everywhere, and I did do that, but the process got really long fast, and I just kind of covered the whole ball in like a dark, almost black wool, core wool that's at the top there. But it's kind of playing with it, because I'm looking at pictures now and I'm like, oh, there's seeds. But the process got really, the seeds got too big, and I wasn't sure how that was going to work. So I ended up, like I said, doing this and keeping the footage, because it was my process, and then just going way over, which I like the way it worked. It looked better, so next time I will not be doing the little seeds. If I did something like little seeds, I would definitely probably do like a brown, bit of a brown, if it even will show, and then maybe a black, and we'll see how that looks. But I didn't work these good enough. They were too big, and I was getting like, this is not going to work, and I'm just doing this for nothing, so I just covered it. But it did look like a little moon or craters or something, or in this little, I don't know. It was kind of cute. And that was that. It's a process to play with everything. I was going to add a little cookie on top, but then I thought my cake is really small, and I just really liked the fruit on it, so I didn't do a cookie. And then there was also too, like, look how all the different browns I have and stuff like that. And it's like, the color choices are not there. And yeah, to make it my own too, to make it a little different than the actual maybe dessert itself or whatever. You can make, when you bake and stuff, you do your own little thing on top of your little things, so it works. And so here's me covering it all in black. But it worked really well. It was just a touch too. I could have maybe done more. But that, like I said, this is playing with it and then more of an experiment in a gift. Like it's going to the kids. So here's me trying to get that ball in there, and really helps to roll in your palms to get that covered and going. And then I'm using going between my thick needle and my resistant needle and my thin needle, see which one's pinning it better. Of course, the resistant one works really well, or the longer, thicker one. I do probably need to learn my needles. Could be any help to you guys. But yeah, I have lots of this wool. It's really, it's a really nice wool, just not a Yoda color. And you can see how loose that wool is around there. I really work it to get it solid. But that's one thing too. The more you compact the satay, the harder it is to kind of add more layers, and it's kind of a little more work. It's easier to kind of put all the layers, like to fill everything together as a ball. But I really was going for a process here, so it was more of an experiment. If it didn't work, it didn't work. This really helped. This guy. It doesn't look too great, but that's why you get the fine needles at the end to do details when you want to get rid of some of those indentations, those holes that you're putting in there. But yeah, that really worked. It's like, this is taking so long. And it worked also putting it on this brush so it's not squishing into the sponge to really shape it. I could have put a brown layer on top for the outside of the kiwi, but I decided I would have peeled my kiwi to throw it on the cake, so no. Didn't need it. And like I was saying, yeah, it's like, it looks okay, fast forwarding it 4 times, but it was needed to get through the video. And I don't know if this is helping anyone, but if you're willing to watch and you're wanting to watch, this is what happened here. And one of these days I'm going to try wet felting. It looks fun, I just don't like getting wet. Does that sound funny? The thought of getting wet and dealing with wet and dry and having a little spot that you have to deal with all that water is taunting. But the projects look really fun and interesting. So I think that one day I would have to do it outside in the summer, and just that way I don't care about what the water mess or anything, because there is going to be a water mess, of course. And what better way to not worry about it than to do it outside? Enjoy the sunshine. So here's my kiwi coming along. it's really shaping. So here I cut it. I don't quite cut it down the center to see how it looks on the side. Not liking that. That didn't make sense. So I cut it down the center. Although it would have been too thick to add to my... So I got another piece for another project there. And I'm just going to kind of compact that. Because of course now I have the ends that cut. But it's so neat how wool works, where you can just kind of squish it and just felt it together, and it doesn't even look like it's been cut. But look at that center, it's kind of cool. It's not quite Kiwi-ish, but you get the vibe. It's like, I don't know, mixed media, or, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, like, you know, when you do a painting, abstract kind of, it's an abstract Kiwi, that's what I'm getting at. Here I'm trying to figure out, oh no, Kiwi's big. Strawberries right in the center, hogging the whole thing, so I had to take it off and kind of fix that up. So the cake now, I don't know if I said this, I don't want to repeat myself, I'm sorry if I do. The cake did start off, like I was saying, I did say this before, 3 inches. Now at the end of this project, the cake is 1 3/4 inches. So it's very small. And the Kiwi ball, I've got the other half still here. So the beginning of this, right when I was done doing the Kiwi, is almost a little over 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 again. It's almost the same size as my cake. And then the Kiwi on the cake now, after all the felting I've done, is approximately 1 inch. It's a little over, let's see, 1 1/16. So it's, when you're felting, it's just like pushing and pushing it together, and you're not distorting the picture and stuff, and I really like that part. So that's the Kiwi. The strawberry, when I started off with, while I'm here with the ruler, it ended up being 1.5 inches tall from point to the green, and I'll still have the other half. So the thicker half was almost, well, geez, it's 1 3/4 inch, the bottom half, where that's closest to the cake. Now the one on the cake is the same height, but it ended up being 1 inch thick at the bottom because I added more red to thicken up the bottom of the strawberry, because it just looked too thin. It kind of looked like a radish. So I just, as it was on there, I just kept adding, and I think I have that on the video, and I kept adding that on there to thicken up the base of the strawberry that was on the cake. And that is how that turned out. Just wanted to show you the size. And did I show the eyes? Oh, I hope I did. I'll have to go back and see here. The eyes were pin, dollar store pins for sewing pins, and I just colored them. I stuck them into the foam, and then I used my side cutters, my wire cutters, to cut them, and then I grabbed the ends that was stuck into the foam, threw it out, markered them up with Sharpie, and then was able to glue my eyes in with like the crystal clear scrapbooking type of glue that I used, actually, that was on hand here, and make a little face now. And that's what I used. Since I have these push pins that are useless for anything else, they're not good for sewing because the needle is not smooth and you can't get it through the fabric properly without distorting the fabric, and too much work to try and play with it, so it's good for other things like that. So, and now I'm on to the blueberries. Man, I'm really behind on my talking here. Sorry, guys. So the blueberries, I did have this wonderful blue core wool stuff, and yeah, I just did 3 blueberries, kind of stacked them in there, and I worked on them. And again, just using the same needles and yeah, made little balls. They're really small. I like them. I was able to do a little stack, kind of like a little a trio cluster there, and they look super cute. I also made a little wire pin to glue in with a loop on it, added a chain, and made it into like a little keychain type of thing on this little guy. And that's what I'm doing with all of them that I'm making. And so then the kids can hang them on their journals or their purses or whatever, put them on a keychain, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, I'm sorry I missed some of the stuff as I'm talking and looking at my desk here. And that is it. So felting everything on there, I just made sure I went over everything. I went through the bottom to make sure I got through the fruit. And that's one reason too, that when as you're building, you don't want to compact things so hard that you can't work it, because you're adding layers to this particular project, and it's good to be able to work through when you're trying to attach things. I like to work even through the cake and everything too, to make sure the kiwi's on, the strawberry and everything, make sure everything's solid. I'm hoping you guys really enjoyed this project, and I'm really glad that you guys came along, whoever has and watched the whole thing. And yeah, thanks for watching. It's just more of a process that I went through than a tutorial, but I'm not really sure how I would do with this type of thing as a tutorial. It's just kind of playing along, and this is what I did, and you guys could do it too, because it's pretty easy stuff to play with. I would totally recommend doing these cute little things. They're super easy and fun, and it's a good starting point for felting, I think, because they're small and cute and inspiring. Oh, here's a phone call from my husband. And I think it makes you want to do more, so do little cutesy things. So I think I might have a picture of it here at the end, or a show. I don't know if I have the chain on it. I don't know. I can't remember everything. But that is this cute little cake, dessert thing. Fruit cake, teeny weeny, and it's so cute. I did add the pink cheeks, and it makes such a difference to add a little bit of a pink cheeks to it. And I just used pink wool, and yeah, that turned out pretty cute. Here's him, pretty done. I did, of course, felt them a little bit more, and there's a fuzz on there, and I used scissors to cut that off. Just fine scissors I just used for my wool, and I didn't realize that I didn't snip that, but yeah, I do have that done. That's right at the end. And isn't he cute? Thanks for watching, guys.